I'm Chris.
And I'm Joe.
We are 1836 Booze and Barbecue.
Cheers.
Welcome to the first live stream. And kind of give you a little bit of background on myself. I did competition for 10 years. I own my own business now. 1836 Barbecue, set up at 1365 West County Line Road, and they're here in New Braunfels. What better way to start it off but a brisket? So we're using a prime today. Usually in my trailer, I use a Kayushi brisket, which is kind of an American Wagyu, and it's awesome. One of the best meats I ever had. But welcome to the first episode, and hopefully y'all enjoy it and keep tuning in. So today we're going to go over trimming and the seasonings, and then the smoking and all that good stuff. We'll also be doing other sides as well. And but kind of excited about this, and we'll see how it goes from there.
I'm gonna check on the web real quick.
All right. So the first thing, get you a good meat. HEB has a good selection. Granzy Meat Market here in New Braunfels has good selections. You need a sharp knife. Usually I wear gloves so you don't slip and cut yourself, which has happened many a times. But yeah, we're gonna do a 12-hour cook, and so I'll show you how to trim. And right now we have a brisket's I've already cooked overnight, so we'll go to that later. So pretty much, hopefully we don't drag this out too much, but hopefully everybody enjoys and learns a thing or two and goes from there. So pretty much nobody wants this big piece of fat right here. You just simply trim it off, watch your fingers. Keep it down, cut flush. A lot of people keep or like to trim off all this silver skin. It really doesn't matter. Kind of like to keep it on there because it usually cooks off anyways. Cut off all your little brown meat that might be on the edges. Give it a good simple cut around the corners. Kind of make it aerodynamic in your pit. I prefer, the pits I use on my trailer are reverse smokers, which they are cabinet smokers. And I can do pretty much any pit you give me. I can cook something on and cook it well. I prefer offsets are my favorite. They tend to have a good smoke, good clean smoke, and they have to have a good sized stack and airflow that goes through, so you get a good amount of smoke and stuff on there. Now, what I like to do about this right here, this flappy stuff, just kind of trim it off. And I'll run the knife across this cut right here, along the meat, just above the meat, and cut this completely off. So what I do in my trailer, this is how I use for my burn ends. So I'll take this. That's good marbled meat. So I'll put my seasoning on it. I'll use cane sugar and really put a good coat on there. That's how I get my burn ends. Always keep that piece of meat. Other than that, you just keep on trimming. Try to trim it down to where you have about 1/4 of an inch of fat, because it's gonna render down. I also like the fat on there too, because that's the side I season. It keeps helps hold the seasoning real well, and you kind of can feel it. There's hard spots, so you can tell right here that's already pretty good. But then you have this big, thick piece right here. which if by running your hand across it, you can feel it. And so I just trim that off as well. You don't want to have too much fat. Good sharp knives work really well. I always try to keep the meat around in my trailer for about 36 degrees because it's a lot easier to cut. Because once it starts defrosting, it gets kind of hard to cut as you go. So, but yeah, I mean, brisket is it could be easy. Well, it's not easy for anybody. I can tell you 10 years ago when I started my brisket, I could have started a business with it. And I would have been out of business by now. So going into competition, I learned a lot about different types of meats. You know, you got your choice, your select, which I don't even touch anymore. It's either prime or above, but my favorite is the Kayushi brisket. And they are a great company out of Flatonia. And, you know, it's a really, really good meat. And this one's not too bad, actually. It's got a good flop to it. So a lot of people say to bend and whatnot. But to me, it really doesn't matter. It's all about the temperature you have it at. I usually cook them about 275. And they get a good smoke until, I would say, about 180 is when I wrap it. I do wrap my briskets because I think anything over 180 internal temp is what I'm talking about. So internal temp hits 180, I wrap it up. I do both butcher paper and foil, and I let it ride till about 205. So pretty much what it looks like. There's still a little bit more trimming to do. And just like I said, you can feel it, that rough fat. I like around the edges. Most barbecue restaurants do. Good restaurants, actually. So you kind of get that aerodynamic. I always put the, fat side towards the fire, so it goes across the meat.
Is that for the smoke or is it for the heat?
Both.
Oh.
Both. So, I mean, you're going to get the heat, so you want to get more of the heat coming this way. You don't want to have it this way in the pit. Reason is, then you're going to dry it out to here, so you're going to waste a lot. But always keep it away. So the stack's over here, the fire's over here. Keep it up the furthest end. I'm a big believer, low and slow.
How low?
Usually, I'll start it off at 275 for about 5 hours, and then I'll try to run that temperature about 200, 225 for a good 6 to 8 hours, if not longer. The briskets that I have in mind, I do them, but since my pits are insulated, they cook really well. So I'll hit that temperature, internal temperature, about 180, about 6 hours into the cook, and I usually run those pits about anywhere from 265 to 275. The seasonings that I use is a basic. Well, today I'm going to use a basic coarse salt and pepper. I usually like to put a coat of cane sugar on top. The reason is because it caramelizes. Once it caramelizes, it keeps that seasoning stuck to the fat and it absorbs that smoke really well. And you just get a little hint of sweet to the meat. I'm a big believer. A lot of people like their barbecue sauce, which is fine. I don't. Because if you're a good cook, you got a good piece of meat, you're paying for the meat. You're not going to pay for sauce. But a lot of people like sauce, I still have the sauce. And so this one's trimmed up pretty good. Let me round it off a little bit more. So a lot of people can use this extra fat, or I'm sorry, not fat, but meat or sausage, mix it up. I usually like I said, use this for the burn ends. This, I just trash it. Really no need for it. So, with that, check the other side and make sure the other side's well.
You got lots of people saying hi. You have Jamie Clements saying, hey, cuz.
What's up, cousin?
Let's see who else here. We have Cynthia Hewitt Fluger. Hey, Christopher Haynes.
#1 customer.
And of course, we can't forget Stray Taker, Coda, Michael Essex, all giving shout outs online.
Those are all my brothers.
Appreciate you. Welcome everybody. Like I said, this is already a good looking brisket. Didn't really have to do too much trimming on it. And that's one thing that people ask. A lot of people wonder why brisket prices are so high. The fact that when I trim my briskets, I usually do anywhere from 10 to 13, 14 briskets. Right off the bat, after I cut them or trim them up, I'm losing $175 in the trash, all fat. You can make soap with it, but I don't have time for all this.
Brisket soap. Hell yes. You want your man to love you? Smell like meat.
Smells like America.
Yeah. So, but and then the brisket also renders down. It'll probably lose maybe another pound or so while it cooks. So that's why brisket prices are so high, especially right now because meat is expensive. And I try to keep my best, keep up with the rest of them here in town because there's a lot of barbecue places in New Braunfels, and luckily I've been in business for 2.5 years and been able to compete with them, which is awesome. So
not just New Braunfels, it's the whole area. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's times that
you go an hour north and you're in prime Austin, Lockhart,
which you got the capital up there. Snows and Franklin's. Eventually, hopefully, I could be in that category, which I'm doing what I do. Hopefully, people enjoy it and keep tuning in, and hopefully, everything works out.
You got Matthew Keller saying hello, and Dylan Keller saying you're making him hungry.
What's up, cousin?
Matthew Keller said save the tallow mix it with venison or for deer burger.
You can. Tallow, I've been wanting to do that, but hard to find time. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I have a full-time job during the week, and I do this on the weekends. And between full-time job and barbecue business Saturday and Sunday, and my daughter's dance, which we have a competition coming on, we're dancing, which is awesome. So, but yeah, it's hard to find time to mess with all that fat stuff. But y'all live in the New Braunfels area. You want to buy it from me? It's for sale.
A lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
it.
Especially Friday. Fridays when I get there, that's when I start trimming and seasoning and cooking.
That's kind of 40 pounds of fat, you think?
Yeah.
Because I looked for that hot stuff, I moved it to the side. It wasn't like.
It depends too. I mean, sometimes you get good cuts of brisket, which you don't have to do too much to. Like this one wasn't too bad, but there's times before where I'm cutting off 2 pounds at least of fat, and you just never know. But like I said, that's waste. So today, anyways, usually I use. I'm gonna straight up tell you is McCormick steak seasoning. Put it on there. And I use good pepper, and then I finish it off with some cane sugar. But today we're going to do just basic salt and pepper for everybody. Just put a good coat on there.
And that's pretty much the standard, right? Salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper standard. I mean, everybody has it different ways. And that's one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be different than everybody else. And that's why I stuck with McCormick. When I used McCormick seasoning in competitions, I won. I was doing well with it. I just always stuck to it. You don't have to put a blanket of salt on there. just a good coat. You know, that's about all you need. And then for the pepper, doesn't take much neither.
Let me get it good.
Because you are buying meat, barbecue meat. That's pretty much. I usually put a heavier coat on there, but these are big grinds. Something can be good with it, and just kind of pat it in. Get your pit. Usually, when I'm doing stuff, I already have my pit going, and ready to go. Open it up and throw them on. So, but other things we'll be doing too today is some beans, some pinto beans, and
Guacamole.
And cornbread. So
this is northern cornbread. It's down here like the savory cornbreads. We got nice sweet cornbread.
So hopefully everybody's enjoying it so far, and
Brian Mora is watching from Groton, Connecticut, saying his mouth is already watering and he can't wait to come home and try it. Go, Chris and Joe.
Awesome.
Shout out to my brother, and also brother by family, and then brother by future submariner. So
maybe.
I guess it would be a good time to have a moment of silence for
Amen.
Because there's a lot of sacrifices. Today, Memorial Day, it's about remembrance. It's about remembering the sacrifices that our brothers and sisters, fathers and grandfathers who go before them sacrificed for our freedoms. That's a really important thing that we need to acknowledge. Our remembrance.
Big supporters, military, first responders, fire department, EMS, police, state troopers, big supporters. So if any of y'all military, first responders come by the trailer, we do have a 10% discount for all the time. And because it's much respect, very much respect for y'all. All right, so this is ready.
All right. We want to wrap it up, and then we're going to move it over to the smoker.
Right.
All right.
Be back shortly. That's what you're looking for. A good bark. This is a brisket that I had on my trailer that I ended up bringing over here. So we didn't have to go 12, 13 hours cook. So brought it here. And so it has a good bark on it. So I'm going to cut into it and let's check it out.
Let's go on this camera here. See this goodness. Oh man, that was good.
So I know the knives, we're looking for sponsors, anybody who's watching this, so anyways, we'll work with what we got.
Those are my knives. I had them for like 15 years from when I got married, so
yeah,
they live a long life. Oh yeah.
Good and tender.
Oh my gosh, it smells amazing.
But yeah, it looks good. Get the brisket.
Yeah, so let's show people how to cut brisket.
Oh yes.
That's an important one. A lot of people have questions. At my job, a lot of my friends had asked questions about how to cut brisket. Surprisingly, but it is a difficult thing. Like I had done one day in Chris's truck, and my back was screaming. I sit all day working on computers, and I have not done manual labor in a long time, and cutting brisket is hard work, and cutting brisket correctly is a skill for sure. And Chris is a master at cutting brisket. Like I didn't think it was that difficult. And then doing it and then watching Chris do it, it's like two totally different levels. So we're gonna go over that.
The reason the cuts on the brisket, so I should have showed y'all this earlier.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Oh.
So the brisket sits like this. So you have the lean and then the moist and the marbled side. There's different different grains of meat, and it changes right in the middle. And so from the point, you want to cut this way. But once you get in the middle, you turn it. So the grains change. Usually I cut this off and we kind of use it as burn ends. And then we'll also cut this part off and cut it as burn ends and work our way down and cut it this way. And you know what, let me go ahead and cut it. You'll see the difference between the two. So you'll see a lot of the fat that goes through. And then this was what we cut earlier. So this is more of a lean, which doesn't have as much fat. You see that all right? Yep. So you see how the fat and the texture of the meat versus more of the lean goes through here. But yeah, and so brisket, smaller side, bigger side. Smaller side you cut this way, you turn it, cut it. That's how you cook or cut a brisket. And get you
little dancer.
Tiny
Shout
dancer.
out Elizabeth.
the beans might be a little bit.
Oh, she didn't even need a knife for that brisket.
No,
No, not at all.
you're good on
The face says it all.
All right, so that's what we're gonna start doing. Thank you for tuning in for the first show. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Hopefully everybody learned a thing or two. Don't be bashful. Ask us questions. We'll try to, answer them as quickly as possible. Go to the YouTube page. We'll have the ingredients of everything.
On YouTube, we drive also our links to all of our other content, from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. You'll see a lot of our videos on there. Yeah, really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, showing us the love, watching us, and just love the energy.
Tell your friends. Tell family, whoever you can think of. Say, hey, tune in. Check these guys out on 1836 Barbecue and Booze and Barbecue, and go from there. See y'all next weekend.
Yep.
Cheers.